One day, King Qutbandi was worried. His vizier asked, "What has happened, my lord?" The king replied, "Last night, my wife and I had a heated argument, and in anger, I uttered divorce to her 3 times. Now, can I take her back?" The vizier called upon the scholars of the time to resolve this issue. The scholars said, if a man divorces his wife 3 times, he cannot marry her anymore, unless she marries another man. And then that man divorces her at his own discretion. After the end of the divorce period, the first husband can remarry her. Listening to this statement, the king said, "In every issue, there is a difference and a discussion. Isn't there a difference between you on this issue?" All of them said, "No." One of the king's ministers said, "I know a scholar who lives in the city of Hala. According to his fatwa, this kind of divorce is invalid." Shah Qutbandi wrote a letter to Allama Hilli, and summoned him. Sunni scholars said, Allama's religion is a false solution, the Rafizi are foolish, and it is not correct for the king to invite such people, but the Shah said, he must come and this issue will be investigated. When Shah Qutbandi's letter reached Allama Hilli, Allama felt his duty and endured the pain of traveling a long way and reached Sultaniya, from Hala. By the order of Shah Qutbandi, a large assembly was held. The prominent scholars of 4 Sunni religions were present in that assembly. Then Allama entered the assembly, but when he entered, he took his shoes in his hands, and greeted the people of the assembly, and sat next to the king. The scholars present in the assembly said to the king, "Didn't we tell you that the scholars of Rafizi have weak intellect?" The king said, "Ask him what he did when he entered the parliament." Scholars said to Allama Hilli, "Why didn't you bow and prostrate before the king when you entered? And did you not observe the customs of the assembly?" Allama replied, "The messenger of God held the highest position of government, and people only greeted him, and did not prostrate to him." The Holy Quran says, "May you be blessed by God, so when you enter a house, greet yourself, greetings and greetings from God, blessed and pure greetings and greetings." And all Islamic scholars agree that prostration to other than God is not permissible. Then they said, "Why didn't you respect the etiquette and sit next to the king?" Allama replied, "There was no empty seat in the assembly, except next to the king." Whatever Allama said, the translator translated his speech for the king. They said, "Why did you take your shoes, and bring them with you? No wise person does this." Allama said, "I was afraid the followers of Hanafi would steal it, just like Abu Hanifa, who stole the shoes of the Prophet." The Hanafi scholars said, "But Abu Hanifa was not present at the time of the Prophet." Allama said, "I forgot that Shaifi did this theft." Shaifi scholars shouted, "But Shaifi's was born after the Abu Hanifa's death." Allama said, "I was wrong. Imam Malik did this theft." Maliki scholars shouted, "Be quiet. There was a gap of more than 100 years between Malik and the Prophet." Allama said, "Then, Ahmad Hanbal did the theft." Hanbali scholars were denied, and answered like others. At this time, Allama turned to the king, and said, "You know, that by their own admission, Sunni scholars were none of the leaders of the 4 religions at the time of the Prophet, so what kind of bid'ah is this? That they brought and chose 4 people from among their mujtahids, and if a mujtahid among them is knowledgeable and reliable, but his fatwa is contrary to their fatwa, they will not follow his words?" Shah Qutbandi turned to the Sunni scholars, and said, "Really? None of the leaders of the 4 religions were there during the time of the Messenger of God?" They said, "That's right, they were not present." That was the moment when Allama said, "The Shiite community took its religion from Imam Ali, who was the soul of the Prophet, and his cousin, brother and guardian." Shah Qutbandi said, "I have invited you for an important matter, and that is, can 3 divorces take place in one assembly?" Allama said, "Your divorce is invalid, because its conditions have not been met, and one of its conditions is, hearing of 2 righteous people. Have 2 righteous people heard?" The king said, "No." Allama said, "Therefore, divorce has not taken place, and your wife is lawful for you." In addition, 3 divorces in one assembly have the ruling of 1 divorce. Life is not a joke, so when you get angry, make a decision. The king became so interested in Allama Hilli. Then he discussed and debated with the scholars of the Majlis and convinced them all. Shah Qutbandi accepted the Shia religion in the same Majlis. Truly, what a great service Allama Hilli did, that if there were no other virtues for him, it would be enough for the greatness of his position over others. And after that, Allama became a special favorite of Sultan Muhammad Qutbandi and made full use of the possibilities of the government for the benefit of Islam and strengthening the pillars of Shiaism. King said, "Write a book, so we can know more about Shiaism." Allama Hilli wrote the book, Miftah al-Quran. This book caused all the leaders and all the Mongols to become Shia, and his niece Mrs. Gaharshad came and built this Gaharshad courtyard in Mashhad for the love of the 8th Imam. King became so enamored with Allama, that he said that wherever I go, you and your students should follow me, so that I will not be deprived of your knowledge. And this caused him to build the turquoise Sultaniye building in Zanjan for the love of Amir al-Mu'minin. The Sultan adopted Shiaism, and sent a group to the regions and cities to read sermons in the name of 12 Imams, and write their names in mosques and temples. In the end, the wisdom and knowledge of Allama Hilli not only resolved a legal dispute but also led to a profound transformation. Through his insightful arguments and unwavering dedication to truth, Allama Hilli not only saved a marriage but also guided King Qutb towards the path of Shiaism. His intellectual prowess and steadfast commitment to justice won the admiration of the king and his court, leading to a significant shift in religious allegiance and the propagation of Shia teachings across the kingdom. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up.